Hey guys, welcome to another video review of mine, this time about the Meizu M2 Note. I won't do too much talking this time, so let's start with our review right away, and that as usual starts with talking about the packaging and its contents. As you can see, the box is very compact and thin, but that isn't a surprise since Meizu, as usual, doesn't pack too much with their device. It comes with just a SIM pin, a USB cable, a wall charger, some documentation, and well, that's it. A look at the phone doesn't reveal too much new, but that again didn't surprise me since essentially the Meizu M2 Note isn't a new device but rather an upgrade of an existing device, the M1 Note. That means that we still have the same polycarbonate body going on there, that some claim to be a shameless iPhone knockoff, which I honestly do not understand at all. So the only huge significant change to the design can be found on the front. Instead of the previously typical for Meizu devices halo button, we now find a physical button there which offers a touch-sensitive surface but not a fingerprint scanner. Besides this button we find the usual stuff like a phone receiver, sensors, front camera and even a white status LED on the front. The volume and on-off buttons have been moved to the left side this time, which in my opinion is a huge improvement compared to the power button that previously has been placed on the upper side. The buttons sit in place tightly, do not move at all and have a nice pressure point. The lower side of the handset houses a speaker as well as a micro USB port and a microphone. On the right side, the SIM tray can be found, which is a dual nano SIM / microSD combo slot, and this means that you will have to choose between microSD card expansion and dual SIM support. The overall build quality of the M2 Note is as good as we are used to from other Meizu devices. The polycarbonate body doesn't feel cheap in any way and is surprisingly tough. There are no large gaps and things like the camera and LED flash are embedded evenly in the body. Sliding my finger across them, I almost can't feel a difference there. All that definitely makes the handset not appear as a device that is priced at only 140 bucks. And the weight of the handset, by the way, is very nice at 149 grams, and also the dimensions of 150.9 by 75.2 by 8.7 millimeters aren't that huge for a 5.5 incher, thanks to comparably slim bezels. Really, one part I love about the Meizu M2 Note is its display. You simply don't notice the low price tag here at all. They use a very good 5.5 inch panel with 1080p resolution on there that, in contrast to the Lenovo K3 Note, doesn't use a pentile-pixel pattern. This makes the pixels near to invisible to the naked eye, and you definitely can see that when I come very close to the camera. Also, brightness, contrast and viewing angles and colors have been able to satisfy me, though colors are on the warmer side with this panel, which sometimes can result in a yellowish tint, but that will only disturb people who do not like warm displays at all. And you can compensate that actually a little by making use of the display settings. Outside, the screen's readability is fairly okay, but doesn't live up to some other high-end devices. The touchscreen is working very well, but the surface definitely could be a little smoother. Also, the scratch proofness isn't that good. I have some micro scratches on here already, so you definitely should use a screen protector or tempered glass with this device. Another very interesting part about the Meizu M2 Note are the device's specs. At the very first look, the M2 Note is a downgrade compared to its predecessor, since instead of the MT6752, Meizu do now use the MT6753 chipset, which offers a weaker Mali T720 GPU with 4 cores and 8 ARM Cortex-A53 CPU cores clocked at 1.3 GHz in this case. So this SoC is combined with 2 GB of LPDDR3 RAM here and 16 GB of memory. But how does the weaker SoC affect the phone's performance? Well, benchmarks do look kinda catastrophic on here. In Antutu, the device does only reach around 32k points, and various 3D benchmarks certify the device to be absolutely incapable of running modern 3D games. Anyway, reality once again proves how worthless all those benchmark results are, since the phone does definitely run very smooth across all applications, and you don't notice a difference to the M1 at all, except some slightly longer app loading times maybe, and some very short freezes during multitasking, which probably are caused by the RAM anyway. So the only difference can be noticed while playing intense 3D games, but it's by far not as significant as benchmarks try to make one believe. Games run very well, and only in very GPU intensive games like Modern Combat 5 you will need to switch to medium graphic settings for smooth gameplay. Anyway, the weaker SoC does have one serious advantage, and that's that the device doesn't get hot. Even after long gaming sessions, it's only getting hand warm, so that's definitely a plus. The operating system running on the Meizu M2 Note is, how could it be any different, Flyme OS. The Meizu owned Android custom ROM this time is based on Android 5.1 Lollipop, and well, it's a thing of taste if you like the system or not. There are many people out there who hate Flyme for killing the classic Android user experience by using a completely different way of controlling a phone that is based on gestures mainly. Anyway, I for myself love Flyme OS, and I consider it to be one of the best Android custom ROMs right after MIUI. I love the user experience, and I love the clean and simple look of Flyme OS, which in my opinion makes it the best ROM for beginners, but doesn't only cater them but the pros as well. Especially the combination of the new touch-sensitive home button, Flyme OS got even more fun to me. If you hold that button, it will trigger the function of a classic back button. Let me show that. I simply tap it without pressing it, and it will trigger the back functionality. I can show you that even better if I open up a sub-menu point here in the settings, quickly press it, and as you can see I get back. And now if I want to trigger a classic home button, I simply press the physical key of the button and it will trigger the classic home button feature. So that's pretty neat in my opinion, and it works very well, and you will get used to this feature extremely fast. After just a few days I intuitively tried to do the same on other phones as well, and I really missed the feature while using the OnePlus 2 for example. So, well, unfortunately Flyme OS still suffers from a few bugs on the Meizu M2 Note. First of all, the system could be optimized a little better on some parts to increase performance and even more, and get rid of the short freezes during multitasking. Also, the standard launcher has some strange bug where app icons go missing out of a sudden, and a workaround for this is using another launcher, which you can see me using here right now. That's not the standard Flyme OS launcher. Another bug I stumbled upon is a problem with the magnetic compass, which doesn't work reliable right now. Sometimes it works just fine, and then suddenly it doesn't anymore, and it just rotates all the time. Anyway, since Meizu regularly delivers updates to their devices, I am positive about those errors getting fixed soon. In terms of audio quality, the Meizu M2 Note unfortunately does only perform average. The internal speaker isn't as good as I would have expected from a Meizu device. It doesn't offer much bass and could be a bit louder. Anyway, it doesn't distort on full volume, so it isn't too bad. For real fun, however, you should use headphones, since the check sounds very nice indeed. The phone receiver surprised me with a very good audio quality. It's very loud, clear, and offers a decent deepness, which makes voices sound very nice. Also, the noise cancellation does work very well, thanks to a dedicated microphone, so you will be understood even in loud environments. Unfortunately, there is a strange problem when doing calls while moving, for example during a train ride. Even while having full signal strength, it often happens that your voice arrives extremely distorted and hard to understand on the other end of the line. The problem didn't arise when I tested another phone at the very first time. At the very same time, I'm sorry. And well, I'm not exactly sure why this is happening and what's the cause of this. Maybe other Meizu M2 Note owners can give a feedback regarding this in order to figure out if this is an issue with my device only, or if this is something that happens with all M2 Note units. You never know. Reception quality of the Meizu M2 Note is on par with high-end devices, but that doesn't come as a surprise considering this is a brand phone. So signal strength is very high across all networks, and the only real downside here is the missing LTE Band 20 support, which is especially noticeable in countryside areas here in Germany. Anyway, in and around the big cities, LTE has been working fine for me, even with the E+ and O2 carriers, which mostly use band 20 here. Unfortunately, I had some issues with GPS. Using GPS toolbox and other tools, the phone reached fast fixes for up to 20 satellites. Anyway, those results didn't get reflected when using the GPS for navigation or Google Maps positioning. It often took ages until the position had been determined, and during navigation the handset often tried to direct me in a way that are completely nonsense. I even lost my way 2 times during city trips thanks to the M2 Note. Anyway, since that only happens with navigation apps / Google Maps, I'm positive that this is just a software issue and a future update will fix those issues. Camera is where expectations usually are low with budget phablets. Anyway, recently we've experienced more and more surprises in this area. Just think back to the Lenovo K3 Note, for example. But also the Meizu M2 Note can be counted to those big surprises. The phone comes with a 13 megapixel sensor made by Samsung on the rear, and this one generates results that can be compared to the Meizu MX4 actually. During daylight the camera creates stunning shots with lots of details and great colors. The shutter time is very fast and also the focus works reliable and fast. Moving objects look sharp. Just in dark environments I noticed that the camera creates some noise that Meizu tries to eliminate by blurring the image a little, which doesn't look too good in my opinion. But that's something you likely can live with on such a cheap device. So, well, the double LED flash is very bright as well and can light up even large rooms. Colors look good since the flash is a dual tone flash. Regarding videos, they can be recorded with up to 1080p. The video quality is good and the audio quality is as well. The only downside is that you sometimes hear noises from the mobile network. Seems like Meizu forgot to add some shielding there, which is a pity. The front camera also looks pretty good and under daylight is definitely selfie capable. Just in dark environments it doesn't create good results anymore. I have to admit that I have been a little disappointed by the battery life of the Meizu M2 Note, which is surprising since the overall benchmark result isn't bad at all if you look at the screen on time and the efficiency score of the Geekbench 3 battery test. Well, the handset does offer a 3100 mAh cell, which is a lot, and combined with the power saving SoC I expected it to last way more than 1 day, but that wasn't the case unfortunately. While traveling, I never got through a full day with a single charge and had to use my power bank frequently. My days usually started at 6 in the morning and at 4 o'clock afternoon the battery usually was empty most of the time. So battery life is for sure not bad since I'm a power user and use my devices quite heavily, but power users are exactly the user group that probably won't be happy with the Meizu M2 Note. My verdict regarding the Meizu M2 Note: this device definitely is a damn good budget phablet which can impress with its build quality, display and camera. Some deficits however are the software bugs and the battery life, which isn't enough for power users. Anyway, at 140 bucks this handset is a pretty good deal. The best alternative right now is the Lenovo K3 Note in my opinion. So that's it for my review. I hope you enjoyed it and it was helpful for you. If so, don't hesitate to leave a thumbs up and a subscription to the channel. If you like what we are doing at GizChina Germany, make sure to follow us over at Facebook, Google+, and Twitter. In case there are any questions left, just drop a comment below the video. Thanks for watching. You will now get a performance demo of the phone, and I say bye bye, over and out.